Hey y'all, welcome to Marcy in the Middle, a podcast about transitions and the middle of life. Here we talk about everything from relationships to finding your place in the world and lots more. We'll talk with friends from all walks of life and find out what they've learned along the way. So whether you feel young or old or somewhere in between, this is the place for you. Welcome to the middle. Welcome to Marcy in the Middle. Today, I get to be with my friend Jen Irvin from Whitesboro, Texas. Not White Right, Whitesboro. Welcome to the podcast, Jen.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. I feel so honored.
Well, I'm the honored one. Jen has an amazing shop, which you're probably seeing just a few things of. Some shoes, some sweatshirts. I don't know what you can see. But you need to come and check it out. It's the Cosmic Hippie. So technically, Marcy in the Middle is on the road today for our first on-location shoot. But anyway, I met Jennifer about, I don't know how long ago, a few years?
A couple years ago, here.
Yeah, here at a great Christmas party. Our friend Christy Usher introduced us, and I loved her the minute I met her, and you guys are in for a treat today because she is wonderful in all the ways, and she is going to share her story, which is full of ups and downs and excitement and all the things, but just thanks for coming on, Jim.
Yes, I'm so honored to be here, and we're going to have fun.
Yes, we are. We're going to have fun, and then I'm going to buy something, and it's going to be double fun. But anyway, okay, so go ahead and just talk a little bit about, give us a little bit of background on your growing up, and then we'll move into all the things that I know about.
Okay. So I was that child that was always a wild child, always like whatever party was going on, or whether it was a birthday party or whatever, I've always had FOMO my whole life. Like, I didn't want to miss anything. I want to be the one that always makes people laugh, the one that's always going to all the events. Didn't want to miss anything. And like we were talking about earlier, even in second grade, like I've always had just a passion for, it sounds crazy, but selling stuff. Literally, I would go to the dollar store with my allowance and buy stuff and resell it down at the end of our driveway with all the semis going by, take the money and do it again. Like, it was just so fun to know that, I guess it was just a God-given gift that I loved and
the
still do.
Grade entrepreneurial spirit kicking in.
Yeah, it was early on.
It was early. Okay, she is always the life of the party and a free spirit and so much herself. And I love that because y'all know in today's day and time, people are oftentimes, unfortunately, not comfortable being who they are. And so we miss out on what they bring to the table, but that is not the case with Jen. So pick back up at your second grade.
Well, I think what we were talking about earlier is, being authentic is so important because I think so many people try to keep up with the Joneses, or they I want to be that person because we live in a very instant gratification world. Let's get happy right now. Well, you got to do the inner work, and you got to know that, like, when you find your true self, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 60 listening to this, or you're 50 or whatever age, if you find yourself and you're comfortable in your own skin, that's the biggest blessing you can give yourself, because I just think being authentic and being true, people can see it, feel it. They know when things are real.
Yeah, they do. And people are drawn to that.
Yes.
You can read that a mile away, and then it's just a wonderful place. And you're very welcoming, and always trying to include other people. And I love that because also in today's day and time, sometimes people want to be kind of the it girl, and there's no room for more people. And that is literally polar opposite of how you live your life and how you built an amazing business.
Well, thank you. I love including everyone. I think we can all have more fun together. There's enough room for everybody. And that's the same thing in business too. I think that, so many people think, well, it's just me, or there's competition. No, there's enough room for everyone, no matter what business you're in or what thing you're doing. There's plenty of room for everyone.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to talk about your business in just a minute, but what were your teenage years? Did you know that did you continue on knowing you wanted to do like your own thing?
I don't know. I knew that college was not for me. I knew that my dad was an entrepreneur who's a brick mason. He'd actually built this fireplace in here.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I always said I wanted to live in a house that my dad and my grandfather built, and they built my house. So that's exciting. I don't know. I was always in trouble. I was probably that kid that got a spanking every single day, and I don't know what I would look like today if I wouldn't have got that because always in trouble. But I always wanted to have fun. Like I never like being sick or missing a day of life because living is just so important. I think that life is just something to celebrate. I'm big on celebrating all the time. My mom used to give me a surprise birthday party every single year for my birthday. Even until I was 18, I'm like, Mom, are we having a surprise birthday party? And she's like, how did you know? So I had a great childhood. Yes. And I'm grateful that I had it, but I did not know what I was going to be. I still think today I don't know what I want to be.
Me too.
And that's okay.
That's right. You can keep changing your mind.
Yeah.
So what did you do like early 20s? What were some of your early on jobs?
I started working, I was 13. I worked at a barbecue joint. I was waitressing after that. I was a closer at a title company.
Oh, okay.
I started working there at 18. That's actually where I met my husband. I worked there for 5 years as a closer, and then I got my real estate license. And I worked at a boutique. I've worked at a lot of places.
Yeah.
And every job I've ever had, I've been fired from because I like to get in there and make it my own and pretend like I own it. And sometimes people don't like that, but that's okay.
Right. It was all part of the process to get where you.
God's plan was much bigger. Yes,
that's right. So if you've been fired, do not give up.
No,
there's
don't. I always
figure
say
out why you're getting fired, but
you're failing forward.
That's right. Okay, so part of how I met Jen and how I think that's how you know Christy is from a network marketing company.
Yes.
And many of you would know what it was if I told you, but it's a secret. If you like coffee, you'll remember though. So Jen, tell how you got into that, because network marketing, I've done it several times and I'm a fan. I love it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's kind of a unique business, and it is probably geared exactly for people like you,
yes,
myself. But Jen, when I say she was the top, she was the top, and that is just something that does not happen very often. So you talk about that.
Yeah, I've always dabbled in network marketing since I was 21, and I always say it's like the best gift you can give yourself, because if you just need to make a $300 car payment, I've done that for years. I've never paid for a car because I always made my car payment with my network marketing side gig. And then I stumbled across this one. We have a friend that's a realtor, and he was like, I know you've done 20 different ones. Why don't you try this one? And I looked at the business side of it, and I thought, holy crap, like this is a new company. It's something that actually works. It was a weight loss coffee. And I dove in head first. I didn't just get my toe wet. I was like, I'm going to get serious about this. My husband said, you love to dabble in so many different things. If you just get serious with one thing, I think you could really kill it. And sometimes you just need that one push, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. So I jumped in. I met some of the most amazing people. Another guy that's been like a bonus dad to me is Coach. Oh my God, the best guy in the whole world. He's met some incredible people in his life too. Worked with Dallas Cowboys, just really cool people, and very down to earth. And so it was really awesome to be a part of something bigger than me. We created a team, we ran with it, and I was the number 1 female income earner, number 2 top income earner for 6 years. But that wasn't the best part. The best part was all the people we got to help. Yeah. I got to retire my mom. I got to do so many amazing things, build a house in Haiti. Just crazy things that I thought
for someone else, not a vacation home.
No,
like for a single mom.
Like things I never thought I'd be able to do in my entire life, I got to do in a 6-year span. So I am all about network marketing. I think it's a great platform. I think it's great for people who want to be entrepreneurs, but it's almost like you're a micro entrepreneur because you don't have to do all the alone. Crappy stuff too, the stuff you don't like about a job. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So she's built this huge company, and did you tell me 25,000 people on your team?
We had 20,000 girls on our team, yeah.
Which is amazing, like all across the United States or Oklahoma and Texas, or?
Yeah, across the United States. And I still talk to those girls today. Like, I just met some of the best people
Yeah.
in the world. And Christy was one of those people.
Yes.
And I know she got to go after her dreams because of that too,
Yeah.
opened her boutique. And that was just
Yeah.
so neat to see. They always say, like, you know, you want to do something great, but watch somebody else fulfill their dreams and you'll really like hit your knees like, holy crap, I was
Yes.
able to give somebody a gift that they could fulfill
Yeah.
what they want.
Yeah. The I'm sure there are some crazy companies, but yours was good for you at that time, and I've done a couple of different ones and still do. And one of the things I loved about it was I think I started when I was about 40 with the skincare company, and I loved the skincare. I wanted to get rid of wrinkles or prevent. I wanted to do what I could do, damage wise that way, but it opened up such a wide world of personal development and meeting other people who were like-minded and who were very driven and who also loved the Lord and wanted to give back. Tons of the people on our team did sponsored missions and built orphanages, some in Africa, and just crazy things that you could never do on your own without that kind of atmosphere and without that kind of funding. But just that encouraging one another and cheering each other on is just like you said. It's great when you accomplish your goals, but when you help someone else get theirs, there is nothing better.
And I think the person you become, like, I am so grateful for network marketing because my mom worked at a library for years, and I would joke with her and go, Mom, really, you're reading another self-help book. That doesn't help you. And she'd be like, no, you should try it. And when I dove in and did it, I was like, holy crap, I am a different person.
Yeah.
It's helped my marriage. It's helped my self-esteem. Mm-hmm. It's just helped me become a better person all the way around. Yeah. And in return, it's like the ripple effect. When we become better, everybody around us, they're forced to move up and get better, or they fall off because they're like the low-hanging fruit. They can't handle that you're happy and that you love yourself. So I hope that it was the opposite and that people wanted to get better.
It was opposite. I know lots of the people that were on your team, and they're all better for it. One thing that I love about it, and I think there's so much that we can learn from it personally and even as the church, it really forces you to evaluate your why. That's a big catchphrase, and that's not even a new catchphrase at this point. But back then, that was the thing. Know your why, because that's going to keep you going. And you're probably a check is a why, but also what else do you want to fulfill? What other dreams do you have, and what other things are you trying to support through that? But it really gives you a chance you're forced to put yourself out there. You tell what you love, and that's it. And you leave it there. You don't hound people. And I know there are crazy people who do hound you. And I'm sorry for that, because that's not what we're talking about here. Yeah. But we're talking about motivational team calls and reading books together and getting coaching to help you overcome whatever you're weak at that you need to improve, whether it be making a presentation or just literally putting yourself out there. It is so helpful in every area of life that it does carry over, and just the connections and the relationships you form, just like you said, I have not seen that happen anywhere else like that. So
the goal setting too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't goal set before that. I was okay, now like I get excited to do my own goals. My husband has his goals, and then we have our goals together, because we were talking earlier, like you cannot be fulfilled by what your spouse did. That's not going to, you're going to be happy for them. Yeah. But that's not your why or your goal or your thing that's making you happy that you did. And my mom's always been a driving force for me of my why, because I just have always been that person that, my mom and dad didn't have a good marriage, and that's okay. It shaped me who I am. But for 25 years, they argued. Mm-hmm. And I always said, if I would ever be able to help my mom, and God is able to do that for me, she would be the one I want to help. Yeah. And that's what I was able to do. And so, especially here lately, like it's been a huge blessing.
Yes, for sure. I lost my train of thought. I started thinking about your mom, and I got off track. But you took your business to the top, and then you had to make a pivot. So talk a little bit about that, because you weren't just, you were making plans while you were earning that kind of money that have paid off dividends even now where we're actually sitting. But talk a little bit about when things don't end like you think, and how you dealt with kind of that, because it could have been an obstacle, and it was a hurdle, but you cleared it and got out of it. So
Yeah, I think the unknown is a scary place for a lot of people. I think people go, okay, is that the best I'm ever going to be in life? Or is that the top? Did I make
Right.
it? And then you just like athletes, like, okay, they win the Super Bowl. Then what's next? Like you've hit it. Well, I just looked at it like, okay, honestly, I did a lot of praying. I asked God, please show me what's next. Show me, even the man that owned the company, I was like, show me who he is. Crazy thing. I know you would love this story. It's really short, but the day before I quit was my 5-year.
okay.
And I was praying to God that whole day. I was like, please show me who this company is, who this man is. Like, I want to know if I'm going to go all in on this another year. This is my 5-year tomorrow. Show me who he is. We were getting ready to go on vacation the next morning. And I had in my extra spare bedroom, my bag was in there, and I'm a last minute packer, y'all.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know
too.
what all I need. So I just throw the goggles, the sunglasses, everything in the next morning. So I was in there praying, and it was real early, and we were about to go to the airport, and there was a snake in that room. And I said, okay, God, I hear you. I see you. He's not a good thing. It's not good.
Right.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, literally,
You
it
knew
was
that
like,
was your
okay, is that
sign.
the devil?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be involved with this.
Yeah.
So I made that decision in that moment that for me, I chose integrity over money. And my husband's analogy of it is, he said, you had a oil pump that was pumping oil every day, and you went out and you shot it. And I said, you know what? It's worth it. Because if I'm choosing integrity over money,
Yeah.
I know I'm making the right decision.
Yeah.
Because I know in the long run, I've got to deal with my decisions.
Yeah.
And it was lots of, like, I love to take a bath in the middle of the day, and I'd be like, okay, God, what's next? Like, I love that, just being by myself with God, saying, what's next? And my journal, there was a boutique in my journal. So I was like, okay, maybe it's next.
Yeah, maybe that's next.
Maybe it's next. And so I kind of took last year, not last year, but the year before that off. Like, I was like, it's okay to just be at peace and not know, just
Right,
listen
the
to
next
God's
step.
plan and
Yeah.
listen. So I was really in a listening phase, which I'm not. I've never been a good listener because I love
neither.
to talk. I
Yes.
feel like I have a lot to say. I love helping people. So that listening year was really hard for me. But I did. And at the end of the year, I went all in, and I called my best friend and I said, hey, I was at NFR in Vegas, and I was so inspired by everything. And I said, are you ready, sis? I'm like, we've talked about this for 15 years. Let's do it. And she's like, I'm ready. So January we went to market. We got the name together, and we opened Cosmic Hippie last year. And it's just been so much fun. I don't feel like I have left anything on the table as far as like, yeah, it was great money and it was great experiences before. And I'm so grateful I would do it all over again. But like we were talking earlier, like being here with my dogs and my best friend and my mom and my husband on our property, like you can't put a price on that.
No.
Like, that's a blessing.
Yeah. Well, and I think there are seasons that we go through, and you kind of knew that season was up, but you did sacrifice. Like, she was not just giving up a couple $100, just so y'all know. Like, it was a substantial amount. And I just really admire you, because that would be tough to do, because nobody else really would have known any of the backstory or the down parts that you personally knew and had integrity, so you didn't want to be a part of. And you could have gotten away with that for a couple more years probably, and nobody would have thought a thing about it. But you knew, and it's noble. And I think the Lord blesses that when we obey, even when you're looking at that, you're just like, it could mean some lifestyle changes,
Yes.
depending on how things go. But So you're in the boutique, and how's it going?
Amazing. We have the best customers, the best time. We always have a party. We're always just, it's just a great atmosphere. Like, I love helping women feel, I don't care what business I'm in. If I'm helping women feel confident, whether it's,
Yeah.
the life coaching we did when I had my team,
Yes.
or now, or whatever. But now it's neat to have that one-on-one with them and go, okay, I know you're going to this concert. Let's do something out of your comfort zone. It's going to be really fun. And send me a picture. They send me a text that night and they're just beside themselves. They're like, I got 300 compliments and I feel so pretty. I'm like, you are gorgeous.
That's a win.
Yes.
Too funny.
Yeah. So it's fun to help women. And it's fun to do this with my best friend, getting to see her every day. And she's such the backbone of this place. Like, I always joke and say, I'm over the fun and the activities and everything. She does everything else. She's like, I love it. So well, it works out that we're opposites.
You're a perfect team. And just what would you say? I've got several questions rolling around my head, but what would you say is the most or the best piece of advice or coaching that you may have gotten from Coach that helped you become who you are? What are some of the things that you feel like people sewed into you that made you able to do what you're doing now?
That's good. That's real good. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to Ed Mylett a lot, and I know this is getting off the question, but he always says, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Yeah. And that just brings me to tears every time I hear that, because I think, I went through a lot of hell in my life. And I think, I didn't mean to cry today.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
But I just think, keep going. Like, don't let somebody, I've had so many bullies in my life go, you're not going to be anything, or you didn't go to college, or this isn't for you, or you're never going to have anything, or you're a gold digger. Just crazy things that people have told me. And I'm like, you don't know my heart. You don't know what I've been through. And I'm not one of those people that, I haven't been in a wheelchair. It's not like that. It's like mentally stuff that I've been through that I think, I've always been up against a giant, and I'm grateful for those moments because that's what shaped who I am. And I think my biggest advice is you're going to have hard days and you're going to have people that don't believe in you. Just always believe in yourself. Don't listen to those naysayers because nobody wants you to do better than them. Right. A lot of people go, right, that's good, your little boutique in the back of your house that nobody knows about. People are finding out about it, but don't do better than what we're doing. And I hate that shame that women have. Some women. Yeah. There's a lot of great women out there that want you to do well, or they push you, or maybe they're older than me and they think, okay, I want to help you get started. So if I could ever help anybody, if you're thinking about starting a business or you're thinking about doing something really scary, like Marcy and I are both people that we push women off a ledge of do something scary and go for it. Like, go for your dreams. How many people die with their dreams? Yeah. And I don't want to be that person. No. I want to be that girl that I get to heaven, flying sideways, and God says, well done. You became the person right. I created you to be. Like, you met that person. Yeah. And so I think there's so many fears and so many things that women have that hold them back from their own greatness. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell my girls, I'd say, what was the day that you stopped dreaming? What was the day that you were literally, it doesn't matter what your job is or what it is, somebody told you you're not good enough, or you're just going to be that person that works the window at Whataburger. You don't have to listen to that one story they've told you over and over and over, and you replay that story because that's the story you believe about yourself. And you can change that story any day. Mm-hmm. You just have to make that decision. Yeah, for sure. And sometimes that's hard when everybody else is screaming something else at you. Then it's hard to believe that. But that goes back to surrounding yourself, I think, with like-minded people or people who have vision in their own lives. Mm-hmm. Because nobody can live your life for you. And I am like you. I'm 52. You're 36. You little youngster, you. But the older you get, the more you have that sense of, okay, I've got
how many ever, and none of us know how long we have, but I'm an optimist, so I'm saying till I'm 100. So I've got 48 more years to do whatever it is I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
And I've got to get with it. I was listening to, do you ever listen to Christine Kane? Preacher. Okay, we got to talk about that later, because you would love her. But she was quoting actually someone else that talked about your most productive decade was maybe I think 60 to 70. I think that is, and I'll try to find who said that, but it was someone that studies that type of thing. And then maybe your next one was 50 to 60, which would be where I am. And you kind of don't think about that when you're younger than that. You just think about the here and now, but you got to make it count. And once you accomplish something, and you're in a unique situation, because I think a lot of people don't hit that level of success at such a young age. So now you're like, you've got a lot more time to go, and you've done well with your money to set yourself up to be able to. And we were talking earlier about money. I do want to make it clear, money's great, or if you don't have any, that's fine too. There's not...
It's a tool, that's it.
It's a tool, and we literally just had that conversation. Expound on what you mean when you say money's a tool, because I don't want people to think... We think if you don't make $6 million in your lifetime, you're a total failure. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, I think the biggest thing is success looks different to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to the person, my husband showed me a meme the other day, and it was like, you know, one guy was driving a car, and the guy next to him was like riding a bike, and he was going, man, it would be nice to have a car. Yeah. The guy riding the bike, the guy in the wheelchair is going, man, everything's perspective.
Yeah.
So, you know, success to you may be being the best mom you can be. And I've had several conversations with moms that say, you know, if I could just have some alone time, I'm like, then lock yourself in your bathroom, take a bath. Like, don't let anybody interrupt that time. You are a great mom. Like, don't think you're not.
Yeah.
But for me, that wasn't the road I wanted to take. I didn't want to, I've always joked and said I want to adopt one day. And who knows what
who knows
what the road will bring. But having children wasn't for me, but I knew I wanted to go all in on work, because I love to work. Like, it's a passion of mine to just, I don't know. I just think that when I say money's a tool, I just think that, like we talked earlier, good people do good things with money, bad people do bad things with money. So if you have a tool that's going to help you create a platform or a business or a speaking thing, and people, you know, they look at the positive from it and they're grateful for what you did, you can't build these things and these platforms with nothing. Like, it costs money.
Yes, it costs something
to do stuff.
Yeah.
And go on trips and have experiences and do these things. I know one of the things I was able to do was take my husband to the Exumas for his 50th birthday. And that was like one of my favorite things.
I don't even know where the Exumas are.
It's that little tropical place in the Bahamas where you can swim with the pigs. And there's it's not for me. He wanted to swim with the sharks and do all the crazy stuff. But it was like a dream that he wanted to have. And I took him on a catamaran with a private chef and
amazing,
all these things. And I'm like, you can't do that without extra, you know, a tool. Yeah. But when you work 7 days a week, you don't feel the guilt of, hey, I'm going to take a week off and go on an awesome vacation. Yeah. Because I'm creating an experience that nobody can take away from me.
Yeah. What she has alluded to it earlier, but another thing that money is a tool for is helping other people, which you just said. But I see that all the time in your life, and it's commendable. And that is the other reason why I don't feel bad to say, yes, go earn a paycheck. You can buy shoes for kids who don't have shoes. You can build a house for a single mom in Haiti. You can help somebody go to school, or help someone start a business, or help someone with doctor bills. Or there's always a lot of really good things that you can do, and it does cost something to do that. And again, not making money the goal, but I get sometimes disappointed when people think, well, it's bad to try to have some. Well, that depends on your motive. Like you said, the money is not good or bad. What you choose to do with it and how it's used is definitely good or bad. And
have you ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I've parts of it. Yes.
And so I think it's a lot of it's how people are raised. They think, oh, it's bad. And I remember when I first started making money, my grandmother was like, you have someone clean your house? And I'm like, yes. I helped her create a business. And now she has a new car. She cleans 30 different people's houses around here. She has a business now. Like, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
That I don't physically have time to do. I gave someone else an opportunity.
Yeah. It takes the world everybody doing their part to make it go around. But I do think just getting your head straight about that. And we talked a little bit about this too. You just mentioned growing up and things you're taught. What are some things that you thought when you were younger that you've changed your mind about now? Like things that mindset wise.
Oh, wow, a lot.
I know that's kind of a weird question, but.
No, I just think that when I was little, I was always building fence with my dad. I mean, he was hoping I was a boy the second I came out. He was like, we're hauling hay, we're building fence, we're doing all the things. I mean, I learned how to drive at 7, do all his books at 12. Like, I was having to be on, like, work all the time. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that work ethic. My mom taught me love and my dad taught me work ethic. And I think back then it was like, oh, people that had money or people that got to experience things, that's not me. Well, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 now, why can't you go to the BMW dealership or the Lexus or the Mercedes? Like, why is that not you? We tell ourselves this thing in our head that that's someone else. They created that car for someone else. And I think that's been one of my biggest things now is, why can't that be me too? Somebody's got to fly first class. Somebody's got to drive a good car. I mean, somebody's got to do it. And if I'm going to work all the time and I am so grateful for what God's given me and blessed me with, why can't that be me?
Yeah.
You know, and I've had the nice cars. I really don't care. I always go back to my Jeep because I love my Jeep. I've had 4. That's right. I have a Cadillac that sits in the garage. I don't even need it. Yeah. Like, I love my Jeep. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is not judging people that have more or that, because you don't know their story. You don't know what they did to get that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I love self-made people because self-made people, you appreciate everything you have. You know, my husband's really big on, he'll joke and go down the credit card statement. He'll go, now what's this $1.50 charge? And I'm like, David, it's $1.50. He's like, that's how you have more, is you pay attention to everything.
Take care of
and I'm like, I need to be more like that.
I'm glad he's not looking at my credit card statement or my debit card.
I don't know how many subscriptions I have, right? And he's like, no, you got to know.
Yes. Yeah. Be smart. And just along with that is making sure you partner with people who are good at things that you're not. I think that's a great, something that really helps you in business is, and you just said that about the business here, but if you can find somebody to run with you that is has complementary gifts to yours, it will take you 6 times as far as you going by yourself. Just the power of community. And we talk a lot about that on the podcast because I personally think, I don't think we were designed for community and to work together to accomplish things that are harder than what one person could do. And just to find your people is so important.
It is.
And then to be someone's people, like to keep bringing people up. You do that a lot as well. And again, that network marketing background kind of fosters that someone coaches you and then you coach someone else.
I love to joke with my best friend and my mom. I always say, I have big goals. Like, I'm going to be on a stage one day helping millions of people, and y'all are getting this stuff for free. And they're like, oh, Lord, why do we have to be your guinea pigs? Why
exactly.
do we have to be the one?
That's right. Tony Robbins, look out, because Jennifer's coming. I hope you do. I hope you do. I'll buy your book. I'll come to your conference. Yes. It'll be fun. So I know we'll be in good company. We've talked a lot about working, and you and I were talking again, we had a convo before this, which we probably should not have done.
Yes.
But one of the things I also think is important is to make sure that you take a Sabbath, that you rest. And we spoke earlier about when you were kind of at the end of that 5 years, you were worn out, like, and literally exhausted. And then was 2020 your year to, is that when you quit, or
No,
2021?
July or June of 2021.
Okay. Okay. Talk about how you build rest in, because you do go hard, and David goes hard, and you've got businesses here and in New Mexico and a lot of things going on. What do you do to recharge your batteries?
I'm just grateful to be married to my best friend. We can literally get on the side by side and go check cows, and that is peaceful for both of us. You know, like, it's nice to be able to have that person that understands when you want to go hard, you go hard, but when you want to rest, you got to rest hard too. And even if it's watching a football game or just laying around on the couch, like, it's so important to have that space. And he knows, like, if I say, I'm going to go take a 2-hour bubble bath, like, I need my time and my space. And, and I love that, you know, or read a book. Yeah. So I love to read. I think we're either growing or dying every day if we're not getting better. And so even in my downtime, I have that personality of what's next. So in my downtime, I'm like, okay, I can grow my mindset. So let's read a book, right? I'm crazy. But I don't know. I think finding hobbies are important. So how many of y'all have thought the last time, you know, well, I don't really have a hobby. You know, I know people that go, well, I just watch Netflix, or I watch, what's the other thing? TikTok. And I'm like, that's your hobby? That's okay if that's your hobby. But I'm like, when's the last time you've been outside? That's right. I'm not judging your hobbies, but
I'm not either, but I do recommend the same thing. Yeah.
Like, get outside. Like they used to say 30 years ago, go outside.
Yeah, right. We had no choice then. Yeah.
Yes.
No, nature is unbelievably, and I would not have said that in probably 10 years ago. I would have said, no thanks, I'm out on the sweating, and I may not be on TikTok, but I'm going to stay somewhere where I'm not sweating.
Where the AC is?
Yeah, but I guess maybe 2020, when COVID hit and the world shut down, our particular areas were not as shut down as some, so I'm super thankful because we did still get to go outside and play. But just now I think that some of my best times with the Lord is like the sunset, the sunrise, which I rarely see because I'm usually not up, but just being outside and taking that all in does something to your soul, and doing things physical. John Mark Comer is, have you read him? I'll have to I've got a good book for you. Yes. He is from the West Coast and does a lot of studies. He's a pastor. He was a pastor, but he says if your job is sedentary and you don't move around a lot, then your Sabbath, your rest time, needs to be super active. And if your job is active and you're out and about moving a lot, then you need to rest doing something calmer, like reading a book or chilling out inside. I don't know, do whatever it is that you want to do. But I thought that was a kind of cool, because it makes sense that you would need to do it. So what do you do? What do y'all do for fun? Like, besides work, which is fun?
We love going to New Mexico. We've been together 17 years, and that has always been a place that we've just found a lot of peace. Like, we just love being out there. We may not be the best hikers or anything like that, but taking our side by side up the mountains and just being outside and enjoying the weather. And I don't know, there's something about that state to me that's just so healing. Yeah. So we love going there. We used to have a lake house, but we don't really do the lake thing. We've never been big boaters or anything, even though we live 10 minutes from the lake. Yes. So we're not big lake people. We have tons of cows. I haven't even got the mini.
Did you get the furry one?
Yes. For Christmas. So we've
Is it here?
Yes, we've been
I got to go see the cow.
Little Cabo
so
is just
cute.
Precious. Yeah.
That's fun.
And we have 4 dogs, so my Frenchies they make me so happy just doing stuff with them. And even going on a walk with it. You know, that's
Yeah.
fun to me.
Oh, well, that is fun.
We love
yeah.
going to concerts. We
Yes.
live a very, I don't know, I think our life is it's very rounded,
Yeah.
well rounded. Like we
Yeah.
have a lot of different friends, a lot of crazy things we go and do, and then
Yeah.
we may just be home for a month. Who
Yeah.
knows? You just
It's
never
good.
know.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's always an adventure
You can
with
follow
my
her on
husband.
social media, and then you can see what she's doing, and it's always usually something fun. It's always usually something I want to be doing too.
I used to joke with my friends and say, if my husband came home with a zoo and said, we are getting in the petting business,
Yes.
like business, I'd be like, let's go.
Oh yeah, you would.
Because literally he is so random too. Like that's what makes it so fun is he's like, this is the business we're going to start now. And we're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Because to us, it doesn't feel like work. It's just fun.
It is fun.
Crazy.
And it's not, we're not boring. Okay, what would be a couple of books you would recommend to people to read? What are some that you would say, because there are millions of books, but what are your top 2 or 3?
Yeah, I always recommend when someone asks me this because it changed my life, and it's the book called You Are a Badass by Jen Serino.
Okay, yeah.
I think if you're getting started in self-development and you don't really know where to start, she's a great place because she makes you, I think everything starts with our thoughts first.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking the same thoughts 80,000 times a day and they're negative, you change that one word to, you know, I used to joke with people and say, hey, try to pick up this cup. We either pick it up or you don't, because you don't try to do something.
Yeah.
And so just changing those few little words in your vocabulary will literally change your whole life. And she's really big in that book about talking about how important that is. And then another person, like I mentioned earlier, Ed Milet, he came out with a book not too long ago called The Power of One More.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I have not read that.
It's amazing. He has his background and mine we have some things in common as far as our childhood.
Yeah.
And he always talks about being the one in the family that is if you're working out, do one more rep, or if you're reading a book, read one more page. You will separate yourself from everyone else by doing the one more.
That's great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay.
And I wrote in my journal, I'm so proud of
Yes.
this, but that I would meet him one day. And 2 years ago, I was in Vegas. We were both at a Mexican restaurant 11 o'clock at night, and he was waiting to go in. And I just went up and bear hugged him. And I said, Ed, I was like, you literally changed my life. He's like, I'm so happy.
Get
but
off
I was
me,
like,
lady.
I literally journaled this moment. He's like, you're crazy. No,
That
he
is
was
funny.
It was a really neat moment. But he was with John Gorman, and going back to what you were saying about money, he's made millions and millions of dollars, but he's so humble that in that moment when I was so excited to meet him, he pointed to John Gorman, I think is his name, that wrote the Energy Bus. And he was like, do you know him? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm excited to meet you. but he put it on someone else because he knew like that guy was just as important, you know? So I love humble people.
I love that too. That's good.
Yeah.
My brain is like totally going a million different directions. Oh,
Probably
journaling.
overstimulated in here.
It's like, no, I love this place. I hope y'all can see how cute it is. If not, you need to drive down here. Okay, I had it and I lost it again. Journaling. Thank you. Back to the journaling. Is that something that you do? Talk about that. Like, is it something you do all the time, or?
It's not something I do every day. No. There was a time in my life when I did, but now it's more sporadic. Like if I'm going through stuff, like I've dealt with a lot of emotions this past year with my mom, and just things I want to kind of go back to and go, I want to remember this time because God's always teaching us something. Like when I'm in the valley, like what did he teach me that summer of that year I quit that? What did he teach me? Sometimes when you are alone in your thoughts and you write them down and you go back to it, you go, oh, that was the season I was in that I learned so much, and now I'm the person I am today because of that season. You can always go back and pinpoint your thoughts.
Yeah.
And so I love to journal. I love to go back and go, holy crap, that was a goal or something that I wrote down and that happened. Like, it's neat to see that stuff come to fruition.
Yeah. Do you set goals like at certain times of the year, or how does that work as far as your business goes?
Yes. So, twice a year I do yearly, and monthly goals, and then like a check-in of where I'm at. And I also do another lady that changed my life. I can see her little face. She's about 4'11", crazy Spitfire. Leslie's on. Is her name.
I knew exactly who you're talking about.
How did you know?
Because she's coached me with Rodan and Fields.
So
she is great, and she is a little powerhouse. Yeah,
and she taught me, to, as far as your goal setting, it's not just the money or where you're going. It's what's the different pillars, as far as like your physical health, your mental health, your there's so many different layers of goal setting. And then, like I said earlier, including your spouse, if you're married, in on that of, okay, what's our goals together? Because that makes it fun. And then we also do something every week that we've done for several years now, my husband and I. We, on every Sunday, when you talked about the Sabbath, we listen to church, and then in the afternoon, we always talk about, okay, what is the most important things you have to get done this week?
Yeah.
So we talk about both of our calendars, and we make each other a priority in the places where sometimes I always think in a marriage, I'll be able to give 20%, a week and a half ago when I had the COVID, the C word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't give the 100%, but he's given the 80.
Yeah.
And so this week I may have to give the 80 and he gives the 20, but
now that
together,
you gave him
now I gave it to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to work harder this week. But that way, communication is key, because when you start your week off with, this is what's important to me and this is what I have to get done, there's no miscommunication or, things can still go wrong.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, where each other stands of, this is where I have to be on Tuesday. Like, I have to do this. This is important to me. And I think hearing each other, the two things I always say in the boutique that women don't get, whether it's their job or their marriage or wherever, is people want to be seen and heard. And when we're seen and heard, you feel so much better. Like, even starting your week off just like that, planning your week is so important.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. That's great advice. And just communicating that, if you're married, then with your spouse, or if you're in business with somebody, that we do that a lot at church with our teams, and just even with your friends sometimes.
Or with your kids. Hey, can you do the dishes this week?
Yes.
I always tell my friends,
and
like,
yes, you can. My kids were great. Well, one of them was a great dish doer. The other one was like her mom, and we let Sydney do the dishes. and we bragged on her work. That's right. That's good. So what are some goals? If you don't care, these may be secret, but maybe you have some that aren't secret. What are some of your goals that are just in the future that you would like to see? Do you have any dreams that you've kind of you're ruminating on, maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to write a book.
Awesome.
Yeah, going to write a book. I have always, the lighthouse thing has always been my thing, because every day I always pray to be a light to others. And I feel like we were talking about this earlier too, that, if God gives us these gifts, we've got to listen. And so I think this is a nonprofit, but later on down the road, I want to create a place for women that maybe they've never got a massage before, or they've never had self-care. I think self-care is the best gift we can give ourselves. And just creating a place like that, whether it's on my land that I bought, or I don't know, God's got big plans. And I just see that bigger things are going to happen and things are going to come together. And I think meeting the right people is a huge, huge thing. So I think there's a lot of things in the works. I also know that, I don't know, I just think there's a verse in the Bible that I love that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And God's given me a lot. And so I just think giving back I just love helping people. I'm crying. You
cry again, it's good. What you're saying is good.
I know this was a therapy session, but just giving back to people. And I know there's so many women. I think it all goes back to my mom, because my mom and dad didn't have the best relationship. And seeing that and seeing other women that are in bad marriages, like, I just want them to be able to have the chance to know what it's like to love yourself and have somebody else love you, or be a part of something bigger than you. Like I said earlier, that I don't know. I do have big plans, big plans. And I would love to bring my husband in on some of it too. There's something that I haven't said, but I've talked to you about with the life coaching, and that's something that I want to start this year. I think it's a calling that God's put on my life, that I love helping people, and I just think that it's a space where it's going to open up, and it's going to be the time is right, and I'll be able to help people. And I would love to bring my husband on that, because he gives great advice. He would be great. Great advice, great business advice, great life advice. And, he's been divorced before, and that's okay. Like I tell people, it's okay. Everybody's story is different, and it's neat to hear advice from people who aren't perfect. Yeah. I hate turning on something and someone's going, my life is perfect.
Well, and we know that is not true.
No.
And we learn so much more when we have to go through the hard stuff. Like when you're journaling, you look back. I mean, and we all probably do journal, or if you're a journaler, you do note the high points. But let's face it, you learn so much more in the valley.
Girl, this year has been a valley for me, between my mom getting diagnosed with cancer and my best friend, and just listening to God going, okay, what are you trying to show me? Because I don't have an ounce of patience in my body, and I know you're going to give it to me this year. I know I didn't pray for this,
I feel
but I'm
that
ready.
coming. Yes. Well, that's just,
That's and just doing life. You know, it's and that's what people, one of the best things I've ever learned from my husband is, life is all in how you take it. If you're going to take everything bad, it's going to be harder on you. If you get bad news, life's still going to happen. Like you got to learn how to deal with the news and yourself and how you react to certain situations. That's been another thing that I've learned, and it's not been easy or fun.
No, it's not. Yeah.
But it's been a great learning curve for me of learning to do life when you can't control the situation.
You can't. And there's a lot we can't control. And we've talked about working hard and building a business and all that, which is all great. And you can control how hard you work. You can't control when people get sick or when a pandemic occurs. Or sometimes you can't control if something crazy happens with your finances that's not due to your poor planning. Like sometimes just really bad things happen in life, and I do think how you approach that makes a difference. And if you have the Lord and you're yielding to Him and listening to Him, and one reason I wanted to have you on is because I do know that you love the Lord, and your life is very it's not boring. It is exciting, and there's always things happening. And I think sometimes, and maybe less now, but when I was growing up, sometimes you looked at people who lived a life of faith, and you're like, there was always just a bigger list of all the things you couldn't do than all of the good things that God has for us in life to do. So you almost thought, well, I don't want to do that. It's boring, and they look miserable. And I'm like, then they were missing something, because that is not what life with Jesus looks like. No. If you're really walking it out. Not that it's picture perfect and rainbows and unicorns, and you may not make millions of dollars, but you will have the time of your life.
Yes. And you're going to have trials and tribulations.
Yeah, you are. That's just part of being alive.
But with the Lord, it's going to be a whole lot easier.
Yes.
And He's going to, I just think leaning on Him has just been, it's been really neat to see the blessings in this hard year I've had.
Yeah.
Because even going to chemo, like I knew nothing about cancer, and going to chemo and seeing people who have nobody, they're fighting for their life.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, God, how can I be a blessing to this person today? Because maybe I'm the only angel they see all year, all month.
It's true.
And that's sad to think. But if we all do our part, and we all were like the starfish, and we just did our part in the world, and we're kind and good to other people, it would just create this ripple effect. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make people realize that, you can find joy in the journey. And I've found that. And a lot of people go their life and they go, well, this happened to me. No, it happened for you, so you can be a light to other people. I told my mom every time we made a post on Facebook with her having no hair, she's the person that would never put her hair in a ponytail or nothing. Yes. And then God takes her hair. And I'm like, Mom, what are you going to do? And she goes, I don't want to take another picture. And I said, it's not for you. It's for the
Yes, for
next
someone
person
else.
that
Yeah.
gets cancer to know that you can find joy in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then my best friend gets it. I'm like, you saw my mom's attitude and how the
Mm-hmm.
Lord just has made her feel like it's still going to be okay.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
bad news, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And just having somebody to walk it out with, I think that the Lord has a funny way of introducing you to people and putting you in a spot, and randomly you meet someone. And one of the biggest joys in my life at this point that's kind of been a surprise is that you start thinking, well, I'm probably not going to make any more like really good friends, or I've probably met all the people I'm going to meet that are, and you might not even be cognitively thinking that, but it's unexpected. And I love it when the Lord is like, oh yeah, well, look at this. Here's a really good surprise. And you don't even know they're coming. And just how that ministers to you like a good friend or a cheerleader. Because I'm like, I was not a part of your marketing team or anything. And just randomly with Christy, we come to the Christmas party.
Sugarland came strolling
That's
right
right. We're not telling that story on this. It is a good one though. No, but just what a good surprise. Like, because you never know. And I'm like, you never know where you're going to be. So I'm going to give you a chance to have the last word of advice. But I would say if you are, actually, no matter how old you are, anywhere from young to the top and in the middle, put yourself out there and look, take your eyes off of your phone, whether you're looking at TikTok or Days of Your Lives on your TV, whatever age gap you might be in. Get out and put yourself around some people. Whether it be, my go-to is always going to be church, but at the library, at a book club, at a restaurant, at a downtown thing, come to Cosmic Hippie, get out and about, go to something and just look to see what the Lord might have for you. That's a surprise, because he doesn't force it on us. And I feel like a lot of times if we're not looking toward him or listening to him, we're going to miss some really good stuff.
It's like unexpected surprises.
Yeah. And we got the FOMO too. I'm like, we don't want to miss out on anything. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should talk about besides Sugarland?
We talked before this that you were saying how we were talking about marriages and how just having that person. We talked about that.
Yes.
I don't know. We've covered a lot.
Okay, I know. I'm like, it's been so fun to see you and see your place and see the fruit of all your work, and just to watch you. And mostly it's on Facebook. How sad is that? Just walking stuff out with your mom and shining your light, even when you probably don't feel like, rather be crying than trying to look for the good in that. But just what advice would you give a younger woman who is just starting out, and maybe they're fine and ready to go gangbusters, or maybe they don't really know how to start to find their way? What would be a couple of things you would encourage them to do?
Oh, I think some of the things we talked about earlier, just diving into self-development. It literally changed my entire life. It changed my marriage. It changed every relationship I have, because I think another big thing is boundaries.
Me too.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. Talk on that.
Life
That's a good
changer. Literally, like, I was that person that was like, oh, people pleaser, make everybody happy, do all the good things, all that. That doesn't make you happy at the end of the day.
Mm-mm.
And like I said earlier, I had another great coach. I've had a lot of great unexpected blessings in my life. Another friend of mine, Andrew Finnefrock from Tulsa, that does life coaching, that seriously helped me so much with boundaries and just letting people steal my energy and my joy and all the things, right? So it's like everything's being vacuumed every single day, and I wasn't being fulfilled. So I just think learn and dive into the journaling, dive into the self-development, figure out your boundaries. Like, what are your pillar things? Even like, is integrity and things like that, things that are your 3 pillars in life, and go on that. Like, go with that and run with it. If that's who you are, that's what helped me make that big decision when I left. And integrity meant more than anything in my life,
right,
than millions of dollars. And I chose that. So when you're in alignment of who you are, a lot of people think, hey, Marcy, who are you? Yes, you know you're a child of God. But a lot of people say, oh, I work at so-and-so.
right.
That's not who
That's
you
not
are.
who you are. Yeah.
You are a mother. You are a beautiful woman, a sister, a daughter, all these things. Yeah. And so I think finding your identity of who you are and really doing a deep dive, it's going to take months and years, and you're never going to arrive.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
And it's the best feeling ever. Like, I don't know what else to compare it to.
Yeah, I don't either. I just think you're becoming more of yourself, and that's the more you become who you really are and lean in with the Lord who made you exactly who you are, you combine those two and you are literally unstoppable. And I was probably later to that party than you were. I've always known my identity in Christ. I would say I did not have a full grasp on it, and I still do not. I'm still trying to work that out as well. But just taking the time to get to know yourself, and then doing that self-development, that personal development, and feeding your soul good things. That's really what you're talking about. Find people, like she's talked about Ed Milet, find people who are going to nurture that, and probably a few different people. Read books that are about that. If you are interested in the Enneagram, I just discovered a book called The 7 Primal Questions, which I got to tell you about too.
You're a 7, right?
I am an Enneagram 7. Yes,
I knew you were.
All the way. You can just spot
too,
each
girl.
other. That's right. Yes, recognize that immediately. But using those tools to kind of figure out your patterns and investigate who God made you, and then ask him. I mean, he's the one that's got to figure out what to do with you, and he's the one that knows you better than anyone else is going to. And so I'm just like, if you will take the time to lean in and find out exactly, and just like you said, specifically, yes, you're a child of God, but specifically, what are the gifts, the talents, the passions, the desires, the things that break your heart, the things that make you happy, problems in the world that you see that need to be fixing. All that has to do with your purpose and your plan here. And once you figure that out, it does. Living out your purpose for him fulfills you more than anything else. Well, hey, it's been fun.
So fun.
So fun.
Yes.
And tell people where they can find you. Tell them about the Cosmic Hippie, obviously. Tell them about the store, and then where you are on the socials, because she actually does put out a lot of good self-development stuff too.
Yes, I try to leave people better than when I found them. That's one of my mottos in life. But yes, y'all look us up on Instagram. We're on the handle. Our handle is Shop Cosmic Hippie. And then we're on Facebook under Cosmic Hippie Boutique. And we also have a VIP page. We do lots of fun lives. We always have fun parties here, like in the store. We always have fun. Like, we want, like you said earlier, we always want to include everybody. Like, come in, have fun. And we're always going to be supporting other women-based business too. So if you're a women-based business and you want to do a pop-up here, please contact me, because I love nothing more than to help people set the world on fire with their new business. And supporting other women is just something I've always done and always will do. And I know you're the same way.
Yeah, it's great.
So come here. So when you come here, it's like a hidden jewel is what I always say. It's
That's right.
We have a golf cart business, a big golf cart business in the front. But we're right off 377 in Whitesboro. You'll turn down the driveway, and I always say, follow the blacktop all the way till it ends, and we're on the left. And we are in my husband's old man cave. It's not his man cave anymore. It's a
No,
babe
it's
cave.
pink and sequins now. That's right.
It's a babe cave. And he's done really, really well letting us fulfill our dream. We're
That's
so
right.
grateful for a supportive spouse.
Teamwork. That's
Yes.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah, and you can find me on social media, on Instagram, Good Vibes Jen 19, or on Facebook, Jennifer Irvin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
I
for
love
having me.
you.
Love you more.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what the future
Yes.
holds. And
It's gonna be fun.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. Well, thank y'all for watching, and go give Jen a like, a follow, set up a time with your friends to come shop at the Cosmic Hippie, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, and hit subscribe to keep up with all future episodes. We'd also love for you to leave us a 5-star review. That wraps it up for today's Marcy in the Middle. And remember, whatever you're in the middle of, you're not alone. We'll see you next time.